1. Your temperament. 2. Your character. 3. Your talents and abilities. The maximum adequate attitude to yourself is the highest level of self-esteem. A.G. Spurkin. 1. Temperament. Temperament is something that cannot be changed. People are mistaken if they think that temperament and character are the same. Temperament is inborn, and the character is developed. Temperament is the main property of a person. It is considered the most stable characteristic of a person's personality, which almost does not change during life and is manifested in all spheres of life. The Soviet scientist I.P. Pavlov defined 4 basic types of temperament. 1. Strong, balanced, mobile type, sanguine person. 2. Strong, balanced, inert type, phlegmatic. 3. Strong, unbalanced, agile type, choleric. 4. Weak, unbalanced, sedentary type, melancholic. Carefully study them and find the temperament that most characterizes you. It is very important to understand that there are no bad or good types of temperament. Each of them has both positive and negative sides. It is important to know them to reduce the impact of weaknesses on your life and make the most of the positive sides. 1. Character. Character determines the greatness of man. Character is life. Greatness is not determined by material wealth. After all, your character has the last word in who you become. There are many famous people who have reached certain peaks but also were infamous in the whole world with their addictions to drugs, alcohol or promiscuous relationships with the opposite sex. This happened because they did not pay enough attention to the formation of a strong character. Therefore, today they cannot be called great. Many people crave to be someone famous in life. But, first of all, you need to look for how to improve your character. That is, how to develop yourself more, how to become better, how to cultivate those traits that will surely lead you to success. Why is it important? Because it is your character that will help you achieve your dreams. Many people think that people are born with a certain character and cannot be changed. This is not true. Character differs from temperament, which is acquired with birth. These expressions are fundamentally incorrect. This is his character, he has such a character, so there's nothing to be done, etc. We can change our character. A character can and should be developed by working on it constantly. It is the character that allows a person to become what he wants to see himself. That is, a person can become better by working and changing his character. It is through working on yourself that you determine the character you have. If a person works on himself, he will have a good character. And conversely, without working on yourself, you will not have a good character. If you suddenly lose all your talents and only your character remains, you can still become successful. If you want to become a successful businessman, find out what kind of character traits successful entrepreneurs have and develop them in yourself. Character is an indicator of our inner work on ourselves. So let's make a decision every day to work on ourselves. If you want to become better, you need to acquire the knowledge that will help you to meet this new state. That is, one must have positive knowledge and practice them to become positive. So, character can be educated and shaped. And it is important to do it consciously. What kind of character traits can be a guarantee of success in any field of activity? A life story. Once a millionaire Richard St. John's was sitting on the plane when a teenage girl on the seat next to him asked, "What leads to success?" Born in a poor family and struggling in science school, she believed that her circumstances could not determine or limit her fate. Having barely graduated from high school himself and calling himself a lazy laggard, St. John somehow achieved some success in life. Reflecting on the question of a teenager, he wondered what exactly distinguished him from his peers, especially since many of them seemed to have advantages over him. His curiosity was provoked by the girl's sincere question. During the next decade, Mr. St. John's interviewed 500 successful people and studied thousands of more examples of both well-known and not-so-known people, seeking to uncover the secrets of success. In the process of accumulating information, he noticed that all these people had 8 common characteristics. The most interesting finding was that none of these characteristics common to all who rose to the top of success in their fields can be inherited. The government cannot give them to you. Your family cannot give them to you. The bank cannot give them to you. Your boss cannot give them to you. The best education in the world cannot give them to you. They can be raised through self-discipline. This is the responsibility of the individual. In his book, Richard Street Johns, The 8 Common Character Traits of Successful People, he described them profoundly. We'll look at them briefly. 1. Passion for a dream. You must be moved by passion, not money. Do it for love, and money will come anyway. 2. Industriousness. Everything 3. Do an excellent job. Become a really excellent student in something. 4. Focus. Focus on one thing. 5. Do not be afraid of difficulties. Force yourself to go to the end. 6. Serve others. This is how people become rich. 7. In everything see the possibilities. Listen, watch, be curious, ask questions. 8. Perseverance through failure, criticism, rejection, pressure. Of course, these are not all the features that you should be educated on. There are still traits as proactiveness, attentiveness, initiative, endurance, foresight, optimism, ingenuity, consistency, punctuality, determination, independence, responsibility, and many others. Our responsibility is to consciously form a positive character in ourselves, which will become the basis for achieving your dream. Only character will help you follow the principles responsible for success. 1. Talents and abilities. Everyone without exception is born with certain talents and abilities. Even if a person was born an invalid, with disabilities, he also has his abilities. Even if someone says that he does not have any special abilities or talents, that's not true. It's just that this person has never seriously analyzed himself. What does it mean? There are certain questions that can help a person determine their talents and abilities. This is an extensive topic, which you can read about in my book, Who Am I? Why Am I Here? In this book, I want to emphasize that if you exist, if you were born into this world, you have a guaranteed resource. It's you, your talents and abilities. Find out which abilities are most expressed in you. Knowing them will help you achieve any dream. When you determine what talents you have, they need to be developed. It is our responsibility to nurture and develop them. If you have musical ability, take individual lessons, learn all the information about music, biographies of famous musicians. Thus, you will increase the number of your abilities, and they will not remain at the same level. Work on yourself, develop your talents. These are precious investments in your future and for your dream. So, we have looked at some internal resources that make up our person. Character, temperament, talents can lead you to where you find money for your dream and enjoy its achievements. Let's briefly dwell on external resources, that is, resources that come to us from outside. External resources. The most common of these is a dream or idea, time, relationships with people, experience, like-minded people, money and material wealth. 1. Dream or idea. We have already explained above that an idea, or a thought, an intention, a plan, is the beginning of everything. An idea is the main cause and source of the development and civilization we see. Everything in this world and even the world itself began with an idea. If you have an idea, consider that it has already been done. Therefore, an idea is the most important resource. 2. Time. This is a very important resource. And this resource is equal for all. If you think that other people have more time than you, then you are mistaken. Time is a very important resource on the way to achieving your dream. Your attitude to time determines how soon you will reach your dream and if you will achieve it at all. Time is the material for achieving a dream. If you set a time limit for achieving a dream 1 year, it can fly and nothing will be done. But if 1 year is presented in the form of 365 days, then you can plan your actions for each day. What result should each day bring? The result leading to the realization of a dream. This art of time management is called time management. I advise you to study what it is. It is important to understand that if you have a dream without a time frame for its accomplishment, then it can cease to be relevant. There is a time for everything, and a certain time is allocated for your dreams. Learn how to manage your time properly, then this resource will serve you in achieving a dream. More details about the importance of time you can read in my book, Time is Life. I will like to bring to your attention the Benjamin Franklin Time Management System, which is considered one of the most effective existing time management systems. The example of Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin, 1706 to 1790, a famous American scientist, inventor, writer, philosopher, and statesman. The 15th child in a poor family, Ben Franklin became one of the most educated and famous people of his time due to his irrepressible craving for knowledge and work on himself. He independently mastered several professions. He studied French, Spanish, Italian, Latin. For 20 years Franklin published the Pennsylvania newspaper, and almost 30 years, the literary magazine, Poor Richard's Almanac. He opened the first public library in the U.S., created the American Philosophical Society, and founded the University of Pennsylvania. Interested in physics, Franklin independently went from a completely simple person to a world-renowned scientist, made important discoveries in the field of electricity, and created a theory of shipbuilding. To this day Franklin's inventions are widely used, such as a lightning rod, electric fuse, bifocals, summertime, etc. In addition, Franklin is one of America's most prominent political figures. He was one of the authors of the Declaration of Independence of the United States, and under it is his signature. In the years of America's struggle for independence, Franklin was an envoy in Europe and concluded a treaty of alliance with France, and then a peace treaty with England. And this is still far from a complete list of what this amazing person became famous for. How did he manage to do all these things at once? It is said that he was faced with an acute shortage of time. And then he invented a time management system that allowed him to act several times more efficiently than an ordinary person. Timing systems taught at many time management courses are directed backward. They are based on the accounting of the already used work time. It is a kind of diary of what has been done. The Franklin system is directed forward. It works with what needs to be done. The global task is divided into subtasks, those subtasks into even smaller subtasks. Visually, this system can be displayed in the form of a step pyramid, and the process of its application is like the process of building this pyramid. 1. First, the massive base of the pyramid is laid, which serves as a support for all other floors' main life values. A person determines his life values from what he wants from life. For one, this value is material prosperity and confidence in the future. For another, a happy family, a loving wife and happy children. For another, it is high social status. For some it is power. For others it is knowledge. For some, it is service for humanity. The list can be continued indefinitely, especially since a person usually has a certain number of life values. This stage of determining the values of life is the most important in the construction of the pyramid. If at this stage an error is made, later he will inevitably be disappointed. So, the first thing to do is make a list of life values, and do not be afraid to spend too much time on it. It's important to think carefully about the list. It is necessary to make sure that the chosen values do not contradict each other. Personally, I believe the main values of life should be connected with heaven. It should be about living to please our Creator and doing His will. Everything other thing comes after our obsession to live for God alone. 2. The next stage is the construction of the second floor of the pyramid, based on the first, the global goal. Based on the main life values, a person must decide what he wants to achieve. Some people also call this stage choosing a worthy goal. For example, if someone thinks that serving humanity is most important for him, he can decide that he wants to become President of the United States. We must set a global goal. It is important to make sure that the chosen goal really meets all vital values from the list compiled at the previous stage. 3. The third floor of the pyramid is built on the second floor, master plan for achieving the global goal. A master plan is drawn up, which, by and large, is necessary to achieve the goal set at the previous stage. For example, in order to become the President of the United States, you must first become the governor of the state or the mayor of one of the major U.S. cities. You need to have a party and/or financial support. You must be a well-known public speaker. You must have a clean reputation. You must be a solid marriage. Get higher education in a prestigious educational institution, etc. So the plan must be written. Having a goal is not enough. It is necessary to draw up a master plan for achieving the goal. 4. The fourth floor of the pyramid is a long-term, for several years, interim plan with specific goals and specific deadlines. It is very important to indicate which specific items of the master plan contributes to the achievement of this specific goal. Even more important is the indication of a specific period. If a person says to himself, "Someday I'll definitely buy a car, I will write a book, I'll go to university," he can drag this for years, and as a result will never accomplish the goal. But if he sets a specific time, he significantly increases the chances of achieving it. For example, if a person plans to become president and knows that he needs to have a higher education, he can include the following in his 5-year plan. By the end of 2020, I will graduate with honors from Harvard University with a degree in sociology and political science. This will give me the required higher education, and, secondly, I can get acquainted with people important for me. So, we should draw up a plan for the next 4 to 5 years, asking the question, what can I do in the coming years to achieve the goals outlined in the master plan? It is important to indicate specific goals and specific time frames to achieve within a few months. And also indicate which item of the master plan is responsible for achieving this goal. 5. The fifth floor is the short-term goals, for a period of several weeks to several months. Looking at the long-term goals, a person asks himself, what can I do in the coming weeks or months to achieve this or that goal? The items of the long-term plan are divided into tasks that are more specific. For example, if Harvard University graduation is in the long term, then the short-term plan will include such items as submit documents to Harvard University, take exam preparation courses, etc. A plan should be drawn up for a period of 2 to 3 weeks to 2 to 3 months and, as in the previous stage, specify specific periods to achieve within a few days. 6. Finally, the sixth floor of the pyramid is a plan for one day. The daily plan becomes easy to do by a short-term plan. Small tasks are solved in one day, the larger ones are divided into subtasks. For example, the task to submit documents to Harvard University is divided into subtasks such as find out which documents and who should file, obtain the necessary documents, send documents, and make sure the documents are received, each of which can be assigned for a specific day. Usually, the plan for the day is not simply drawn up the day before but consists of a list of different cases that were scheduled for this day several weeks earlier. And often corrections are made to it during the day. In making a plan for the day, it is desirable to specify the execution time for each task. As you understand, all these plans are by no means something unchangeable. On the contrary, it is recommended that they are regularly reviewed. 1. The plan for the day is likely to be changed several times during the day. 2. Short-term plans are recommended to be reviewed every 1 to 2 weeks. 3. Long-term plans should be reviewed every 4 to 6 months. 4. The master plan should be reviewed once a year. Once a year, it is recommended to take a critical look at the global goal you set. Does it still attract you? Do you want to make some adjustments? Then it is worth trying to rethink the life values you recorded. Learn to maximize time, then it will work for you, not against you. 1. Relationship with people. Relationship with people around us is also an important resource on the way to accomplishing our dream, and a resource with a huge potential to solve various problems and issues. You will agree with me that where there is not a single opportunity to move forward, our relations with people come to the aid. I do not mean the solution of issues by nepotism. Nepotism is a connection being used for personal purposes and through which you can get some good bypassing the generally accepted rules and laws, which leads to the detriment of the interests of society. I mean the presence of a positive attitude towards others which is a response to your relationship. As someone said, people say that all the doors are open before him. But in truth there are always people who allow these doors to open. If you are lucky, maybe it happened with someone's help. Ties rule our world, said Paulo Coelho, a Brazilian prose writer and poet. In a good way, it is. Much in life happens by the assistance of another person who treats you well, and we must admit it. Relations with people is a huge resource. Do not neglect any acquaintance, meeting, conversation to build a relationship. Perhaps that accidental acquaintance will play a key role in your life and help you find money for your dream. 2. Your life experiences. Experience is a collection of knowledge, skills, which are practically acquired. Knowledge of life is based on experience. Each person's experience is unique. Each person passes through his personal life path, on which he acquires a unique experience. Whichever this experience is, whether negative or positive, its usefulness is enormous. Life experience is a lot of valuable knowledge about how to behave in a given situation. Therefore, experience is also a valuable resource for achieving a dream. 3. Persons of like minds. A like-minded person, according to Wikipedia, is a person who has the same thoughts, views, convictions in any matter. If you manage to find like-minded people or supporters of your idea, you will have a huge resource at your disposal. After all, as you know, one man in the field is a warrior. Two people combining their knowledge and efforts will get the synergy effect, that is, the summing effect of interaction, characterized by the fact that their action significantly exceeds the effect of each person individually. Like-minded people will help bring your idea to the most remote corners of the world. They will help you implement your plans. If you desire to learn how to find people of like minds and build a strong team, you can learn more in my book, The Team Building Skills of Jesus. 4. Finance material values. My decision to talk about this type of resource last was intentional. People tend to abandon their dreams precisely because of the lack of this resource. But I repeat, material resources do not decide whether your dream will be accomplished or not. Of course, we need money, and someone will still have to pay for the accomplishment of your dreams. The question of how to find sponsors for your dream will be discussed in the next chapters. It's not so difficult, and you will soon see this. 1. If you have a dream, resources for its implementation already exist. 2. Everything around us once started with an idea because someone worked and found resources to bring his dreams to fruition. 3. When an idea is received, the resources are also made available. They simply need to be assembled into one, and you need to search for them. 4. The most important resource is me. 5. If all you have is yourself to achieve your dream, it is enough. 6. Ideas are the main reason behind the development and civilization in our world. 7. Learn how to maximize your time properly, then this resource will serve you on the way to achieving your dream. Self-assessment test. The following test will help determine your understanding of the fact that everything necessary for success already exists, as well as the resources you need on the way to achieving a dream. When answering a question, choose only one answer that best describes you. Answer as sincerely as possible. 1. If you were told that the money for any of your ideas or dreams already exists, what would you say? 1. It cannot be. If this were so, I would have long realized all my dreams and ideas. 1. 2. How do I find them? 2. 3. I agree, they just need to be found. 3. 2. Mark the most important resource for the realization of a dream. 1. Money. 1. 2. Ideas. 2. 3. Relationship with people. The so-called connections. 1. 4. I am the most important resource. 3. 3. What resources are the most important for the accomplishment of your dreams? 1. Internal, my attitude, character. 3. 2. External relations with people. Finances. 1. Results of the test. 9 points. You have the potential to achieve success in realizing your dreams and ideas. You know that money for their implementation, as well as other resources, is already available, and you spare no effort in discovering them. You develop your internal resource because it is the main resource in the realization of dreams. 4 to 8 points. You partially understand that for the realization of ideas it is necessary to look for resources because they exist somewhere. But you are not yet ready to make every effort to find them, as well as to develop your inner qualities. 3 points. You are used to waiting for ideal conditions in order to start acting. Your dreams can never come true, as all the resources for their implementation alone will not come into your hands, as you mistakenly expect. They must be sought. You are accustomed to relying only on external resources, forgetting about yourself, which plays an essential role in achieving success. Practical tasks. 1. Find out your temperament. Explore it. What are the positives and negatives in your temperament? Write about how you will use the advantages in your field of activity and reduce the impact of the disadvantages. 2. Prove that time is also a resource. 3. List the most common resources that will help achieve a dream. 4. Name the resources necessary to realize your dreams. Think about where and how they can be found. Chapter 6. How to move from idea to products. How to find money for your dream. So we have reached the chapter that answers the question, so what must I do to find money for my dream? Where am I to begin? I will reiterate this statement: if you can follow certain steps, then your success is assured. Do not try to reinvent the wheel. 75% of your success lies in good preparation. You need to start acting, and only then you will have a chance to find at least some resources to fulfill your dream. Planning or preparation is often the most ignored element in the success formula. Imagine that you want to help the homeless. Instead of careful preparation, you just go out into the street, look for homeless people, and start trying to talk to them. What kind of result would you get? You will be beaten and most likely get robbed. If you are not prepared enough, you will continuously fail. And if it pertains to business without preparation, you can already consider yourself bankrupt. In the process of preparation, you will find the resources that are missing to realize your dreams. You will find assistance, or at least understand where to find them and how to attract them. A true life story. Lyudmila was a middle-aged woman who had been doing her small business for quite some time, selling things in the market, and everything was going smoothly. But Lyudmila, oddly enough, was concerned with a very unusual question. Every day in the market, she had to watch homeless beggars scavenging in garbage cans, old people collecting bottles, handing them over at the reception point. She often saw the same old woman asking for money with a box in her hands, and homeless children begging for money for a piece of bread. Lyudmila felt sorry for these people. How can I help them? Where can I get money to feed all these hungry beggars? She understood that life could be very difficult for these people, and she did not condemn them. Several months passed before the thought dawned on Lyudmila. Since she single-handedly cannot help all these people, she needs to find those who would want to sponsor her idea. The sellers in the market were owners of their businesses just as Lyudmila. At general meetings, they raised issues of market improvement, and at the next gathering, Lyudmila made a proposal. It consisted in that every owner donated money to feed the homeless and poor people who spend the whole day wandering around the market in the hope of receiving at least some money once a month. She proposed to organize a feeding point for the poor near the market. Lyudmila spoke about the advantages of this project. First, they will get rid of the need to drive away beggars from their stalls, striving to steal something. Secondly, beggars will get rid of the need to wander the market in search of food, which will improve the overall picture of the market. Thirdly, all sellers on the market will become participants in charity, which is very common among entrepreneurs. Fourthly, this gesture of goodwill will raise the rating of their market and glorify them before the whole city. Lyudmila immediately had an idea to report on this to local newspapers, which she did not fail to tell the audience. The idea was accepted with a bang. Everybody wanted to get rid of the daily need to drive away beggars, and also to become famous as great benefactors. Lyudmila immediately announced the amount that everyone will have to pay monthly for feeding the poor. She had previously found a cafe next to the market which agreed to prepare meals for free. The products were purchased at the money the sellers in the market contributed. Also, Lyudmila asked the local public organization to provide volunteers who could distribute food and to oversee and bringing order to the place. It was all going so well. Free meals were offered not only the needy but also to spectators. Passers-by with surprise asked who had organized it and how they could help with the project. The main newspaper of the city wrote a report about the free feeding of the needy by the sellers of the market. Soon, Lyudmila began to call sellers from other markets and find out how they can also organize such an event. Remember, it all started with the question, how can I help the poor? Then came the idea, and some people had the money that would support her dream. It was not so difficult to realize what she planned, although Lyudmila had to do her homework. The truth was that the resources were somewhere, they just had to be found and combined into one. This story proves once again that any dream is achievable and it is not so difficult to find the money for their accomplishment. The problem for many of us is that we sit and wait until all we need is placed into our laps. And this is a huge mistake. You cannot sit, you must act. It's impossible, said reasoning. This is recklessness, said experience. It's useless, pride says. Try it, the dream whispered. Let's try. Sri Aurobindo, an Indian philosopher, showed an amazing thought. If you have a great goal, and your opportunities are limited, do it anyway, for only through the action your opportunities can increase. The statement by Basil Walsh pushes us to action. You cannot stop at the idea or on a dream level. It is necessary to act. Only actions will give the result. Here is what Miles Monroe says on this subject. A thought is a silent word, so a word is an exposed thought. Everything in life starts in the thought form. It's a thought first. After it's said, it is no longer a thought. It becomes a word. The next step is an idea. An idea is the concept of the thought. It has moved into a reality. Ideas are potentials. The third level of operation is what I call imagination. Imagination changes an idea into a plan. If you have an idea, it can come and go. You have many ideas in a day: what to cook, what to wear, what to do. You may decide the night before what you are going to wear in the morning and then wake up with a different idea. Ideas change. But if an idea develops into imagination, it means the idea has become a plan. It is still not written or drawn, but it is in your head. Imagination is, therefore, a plan that is not documented. It is a visual display of your thoughts and ideas. If you want to be successful in life, take your ideas and turn them into imagination, then take imagination and duplicate it physically. Put it down. Let it become a plan of action. Let's take the analogy of a product. Let an idea or a dream be a product. The product that we buy in the store, in its original form, was not the way we buy it. First there was an idea, and the end result lies on the shelves of supermarkets. Having an idea is not equal to a product. It's like if I really want to drink hot tea. I can see the tea bag in the packet, but to drink the tea, I need to make some efforts, get up and take the tea bag from the packet. But even after that, the tea will not miraculously appear. Then I need to find a cup, a spoon, boil the water, place the tea bag in a cup, pour into the cup the hot water, add the sugar. And then I finally can enjoy the tea. The pathway from an idea to the shelf in the supermarket is called the manufacturing process or the process of production. The quality of the product is decided precisely by the production process. If you do not put anything into the idea, if you do not work on it, it will be cheap, and no one would need it. The production process is a process that turns your idea into a product that is in demand. So, the finished product is determined by the production process. Learn to build this process, and you will successfully achieve any dream. Always start to work with your mind. before working with your hands. This point is very important. Oftentimes our greatest limitations exist only in our minds. But if we work on our mind, we will be able to see many ways and opportunities to realize what we have planned. There is nothing difficult if proper preparation is done. Preparation determines everything. Preparation is the womb of success. To have a complete victory, it is necessary to prepare for it qualitatively. Whether you meet failure or victory on the way to a dream, you determine your outcome through actions and careful preparation. If you can solve the problem in your mind, consider the problem solved. Because you only need to perform a sequence of actions that will lead you to a predictable result. Preparation helps us to embrace opportunities when they appear. Opportunities make us worthy of tomorrow's chances. If we are not prepared today, then we will not be able to take advantage of the opportunities that will open before closed doors in the fulfillment of our dreams. Decide what your goals are. Tell me, please, where should I go from here? It depends a lot on where you want to go, the cat replied. It's almost all the same to me, Alice said. Then it does not matter where you are going, said the cat. Just to get somewhere, Alice explained. Do not worry, you'll definitely get somewhere, said the cat, unless you stop halfway. Lewis Carroll, Alice in the Wonderland. First, you need to convert your dream and idea into a goal, as well as set a time frame as clear as possible. We do not want to be like Alice in the Fairy Tale by Lewis Carroll, who did not quite understand the purpose of her trip, and therefore asked unclear questions and did not receive the answers that could help her. Decide the time frame. Time is one of the resources that is given to all people in the same measure. We have already spoken about this earlier. He who controls time controls life. Defining the time frame for the realization of your goals and ideas, you thereby guarantee yourself that your time will not be wasted. Determine the exact time frame for completing the task for yourself and others. Alan McCain, the world's leading time management specialist. The time limit will help you to discipline your actions and streamline them so that your goal is achieved. Do not ignore time. Once an idea is formulated, it is immediately necessary to establish a time frame for its implementation. Otherwise, the day in which you hope to see your idea realized would never come, or may eventually come very late, when this idea will no longer of any value for others. You need to know everything possible about your topic. Information. Analysis. Conduct a detailed study of your subject or topic. A detailed study includes all the activities that allow you to reliably assess the situation in the country and the world related to your area of interest. It is necessary to know everything about the problem. Dismantle your ideas, parts, and details. If you do not know what to do next or do not even know how to start, then you have not carried out a detailed analysis of your topic. Your sources of information can be diverse, but they must be reliable. Unverified data will only confuse you. Take this issue seriously and do not neglect the time and energy for a detailed study of your topic. It is this stage that will allow you to determine the further direction and methods of work, and also to optimally allocate your efforts to increase your success in solving the task. For example, the problem of homeless children can cover the following questions. 1. Country statistics. 2. Who is already solving this problem? Public organizations, charitable foundations, and the state. 3. What methods are used in solving the problem? How successful are these methods? 4. Does the state allocate money to solve the problem? How and by what structures are these funds used? 5. Legislation on the problem. 6. What programs exist for working with relatives of homeless children? 7. In which families are children more prone to this problem? 8. Methods of working with similar families. 9. The reasons for homelessness. 10. How is this problem solved in other countries and how successful is it? And there are a lot of other questions that will allow you to see the problem from all angles. If you are going to open a bookstore, you should ask the following questions. 1. The percentage of the population reading books in your city, country. 2. Which books are most often read, printed or electronic? 3. Which book genre is of most interest to buyers? 4. Registration as a legal body. 5. Taxation. 6. In which part of the city is it more profitable to open a store? 7. Internal design. 8. Staff search. 9. Is it necessary to open a shop or a book net? 10. Is it worth opening a cafe or a bookstore? And many other questions that will help you determine in advance the pitfalls and start a successful business. Do not forget about the importance of a constant process of self-education in this area. You should be aware of current news and reports about your question. What new methods have appeared in your country and abroad, new statistics, scientific or sociological studies on this topic, etc. Build a system of realizing your goal. Here you will need to paint your task in details, break it into parts and systems. This will allow you to define your expected result for each day clearly. Describe what result you expect every day, what resources are available, where to find assistance. Write down the responsibility of the members of your team, the system of incentives and punishments, etc. Such an algorithm will help you make your dream palpable. Every day you can touch it. Every month, you are closer to the dream. The importance of a detailed planned dream is confirmed by a study conducted among students of the Harvard MBA program in 1979. Described in Mark McCormack's book, What You Will Not Learn at the Harvard Business School. The results of the study once again prove the importance of a detailed description of the way to achieve its goal. Students at the Harvard Business School were asked, have you clearly written down the specific goals for your future and how you plan to achieve them? In the course of the study, it turned out that 1. Only 3% of graduates had written goals and plans. 2. 13% had goals but did not record them. 3. And the majority 84% did not have specific goals at all. 10 years later, the same group of graduates was interviewed again. The results were quite predictable, yet shocking. 13% of students who had goals earned on average twice as much as 84% who did not have goals at all. 3% of students who had detailed goals earned an average 10 times more than the remaining 97% combined. That's why it's important to paint your dream as detailed as possible, describing the expected result for each day. Thus, you are guaranteed a 100% success determining the daily actions that bring you closer to the dream. Look for the experience of others. Look for the experience of other people who have done something similar. J. Milburn Smith, president of the Chicago Continental Insurance Company, says, A. have-not is a person who believes that an idea is not good for him unless he himself originates it. He continued, copy from success. Everything I have done I have borrowed from another person or business. Regardless of what your dreams are, there are those who can teach you a lot because they have already gone your way. If someone managed to find money for his dream, then you also can. If someone was able to reach the top, learn the algorithm of his success and copy his steps. In this way, you will achieve the same result. 200 years ago, the teacher was the most important person in the village. Because he was the only literate person, if something had to be written, everyone went to the teacher. But later people received an algorithm and an education system that allowed any person to be taught. People came up with the alphabets, and now everyone can learn to read and write. When the first cars appeared, most people believed that only particularly gifted people were given the opportunity to learn how to drive a car. At this present time, everyone knows that anyone can drive a car. To do this, you just need to finish special courses, which is an algorithm that was once discovered and can be taught to anyone who is interested in driving. We have all heard that experience is the best teacher. Unfortunately, this has maximally been used to justify making mistakes due to inadequate preparation, hasty actions, negligence, and lack of judgment. Although we all need to learn from our own experience, there is no reason to continue reinventing the wheel. Instead of learning from our own mistakes, it is much more effective to learn from others. Personal experience can be a good teacher, but the experience of a stranger is a much better teacher. Many people stood at the beginning of the route you are going to travel. Although your path may not be the same, but these people have come across and solved many of the problems that may face you. Using the experience of others as a starting point, you will accelerate your progress. Discoveries and inventions are developing along the same path. People begin with an existing body of knowledge and then advance into the depths. Only in this way did our society emerge from the Stone Age into the modern world. Some believe that they must know everything around. Although self-knowledge is beneficial, ignoring the proven cause and effect scenarios that others have encountered will lead to a waste of time and frustration. There are many ways to study someone else's experience. Start by reading and researching. Libraries and the internet are important sources for research. When using internet resources, use recognized and reliable sources of information. Get training. You have many options for live or online trainings and courses on almost any topic that interests you. Find a mentor who is an expert in the field that interests you. Offer yourself as a volunteer, student or trainee. Working with an authority in one area or another is a great way to gain important experience in a short time. Study the lives of people who are where you want to be. You do not need to know them personally. You can read about them, study their books and articles, as well as news about their exploits. Join associations or professional groups in your area of interest. This is a great opportunity to meet experienced people. You will have many opportunities to ask questions and attend a variety of educational forums. Organize your life in such a way as to be enriched by the experiences of others regularly, and you will be surprised how quickly your knowledge will grow. Be active. Self-education is a lifelong race for knowledge. Successful people are constantly striving to learn and improve. Getting experience is an exciting activity. It makes your mind sharp and life more interesting. The experience of others gives you a solid foundation on which you can achieve higher goals. Acquire benefits by learning from what others have already gone through. Believe me, you can achieve any dream. If someone has succeeded in your field, then there is an algorithm that led these people to success. You can become everything and anyone following certain algorithms. An algorithm is a set of instructions and principles describing the order of actions to achieve the result of solving a problem for a finite number of actions. There is nothing new under the sun. Repeat the algorithm that Bill Gates used, and you will achieve the same success. But if you suddenly became rich like Bill Gates, then it does not mean that you became one. Between both of you is a significant difference. Bill Gates knows the algorithm of success and can earn $1 million again and again, and you know. The experience of other people gives us the opportunity to get the result stably, predictably and automatically. Mikhail Vasilyevich Lomonosov said, "One experience is better than 1,000 opinions born solely by the imagination." Concerning your task, it is extremely important for you to find all possible examples of success stories of people who solved those questions. Find out how these problems are solved in your country and abroad. Find people, companies, public organizations, etc., who have successful experience in this field. Find from 20 to 100 examples. Find the maximum to conduct an advanced analysis and identify for yourself the necessary algorithm. Do not be superficial. Find all the experience on this issue, and you will be able to identify the principles of success. You can repeat success and even surpass it. Proceeding from all above stated, I can safely assert that the presence of talents and abilities is not the primary element in the formula for success. You can achieve success from nothing. Even if you have nothing, you can have a result thanks to a thoughtful and working algorithm. For example, two people want to achieve the same goal. One of them has clear talent and ability in this area, and the second one does not have them, but he knows an algorithm that will surely lead him to the goal. Which of these two will definitely achieve the goal? Of course, the second. After all, talent without the introduction of the principles of success is worthless. Do not ignore the time and investments to learn the experience of people who have achieved success. You need it to win. Gather ideas and information from all possible sources, read books, attend seminars. Find the time to acquire the knowledge that is necessary for success. Vasily the Macedonian, the Byzantine emperor, 867–886, convinces us Do not be lazy to read ancient books, for in them you will easily find something that others with such difficulty found in everyday experience, and you will comprehend everything. The personal experience of other people or organizations provides us with countless learning opportunities. Do not avoid learning negative experiences, because this is also valuable information. It will tell us what we should avoid on the road to success. Do not avoid them, but study. John Ray, an English naturalist of the 17th century, said, "The mistake of one is a lesson to another." We must learn from failure. Failures are part of the world experience, part of life experience. Any experience is a valuable teaching aid, provided that we learn from the example and take into account in our own lives. Find maximum examples of others who have achieved success where you are just starting. Look for partners. In this paragraph, we will look at how to find a sponsor, and hence money for our dreams. Every dream has its own supermarket, that is, a place where we can offer our dream and where it will be in demand. The sponsor can be both a physical person and a legal entity that finances any activity of both individuals and legal entities. The sponsor, unlike the investor, gives financing without the purpose of obtaining any material benefit or participation in profits. Sponsors are all individuals and legal entities that are interested in your activities. It is an individual or a group that provides support, like a benefactor. However, unlike charity, sponsorship is not unselfish. Sponsorship can be in contracts, exchanged for advertising to popularize the product or legal entity. In the case of a social project, charitable organizations, public organizations of various forms, philanthropists, or simply individuals and organizations that are interested in your activity can act as sponsors. Speaking about sponsorship, I do not mean getting only financial assistance. Perhaps you need narrow specialists, psychologists, consultants, specialists in narrow-profile social spheres and others. It is also possible that you need the premises that an organization has. To make the process of finding sponsors effective, you need to investigate to whom your project is relevant, and where the maximum demand for your product is located. To find sponsors, it is necessary to conduct research and make a list of 100 to 200 organizations, foundations, public organizations, government agencies, international organizations that work in your direction, successful individual, wealthy people interested in solving problems of society. Without a listener, a song is not a song, which means, it is important to find a listener of your ideas and find your audience. Why do we need to find so many potential sponsors? Find the maximum amount for your safety. Some will refuse, others will agree. Also, make it a habit of talking about your idea wherever you are. Share with other people your dream and your project. You will be surprised that there are people who are already looking for similar offers and want not only to sponsor you, but also need your service. They will want you to share with them the knowledge, experience, and methods of work you have gained. Someone will need your dream and project. When a person with a dream and a person with resources find each other, then the dream becomes a reality. Write a business plan. Earlier I suggested that you consider your dream or idea as a product that you want to sell, or one which you want to find a buyer. Therefore, the theme of forming a business plan will be very useful here. Having studied the experience of other people or organizations, you can safely start writing a business plan for your dreams or ideas. A well-done detailed business plan will find money for your dream. A business plan is a document that describes all the main aspects of the entrepreneurial activity, analyzes the main problems that an entrepreneur may face, and identifies the main ways to solve these problems. Do not think that a business plan is needed only for large enterprises that organize their business on a grand scale. As the world practice shows, it is necessary for all forms and types of entrepreneurship. First of all, you need it to carefully analyze your ideas to test their feasibility, attainability, and thereby reduce the risk of failure. Also, a business plan is necessary for entrepreneurs who desire to borrow money or other property for the implementation of their project, to confirm the attainability of the conceived business and the ability to return the loan or the leased property. A business plan is the most important planning tool. Traditionally, it acted as a business tool that needed external assistance partners or investors to implement projects that were difficult to master or implement alone. Today, business plans, without losing their traditional purpose, are being developed by virtually all leading foreign companies on an ongoing basis. They are, as it were, the core of the whole system of planning. Business plans are developed by factories and departments, production units and branches. Business plans of structural units are analyzed and summarized in business plans of corporations. To accomplish a dream, building a business plan is important for several reasons. 1. Our dream needs a sponsor, that is, external assistance, without which we will not be able to manage our projects. And our business plan is precisely aimed at finding resources from outside. 2. A business plan is a planning tool that allows us to present our dream in details. Depending on the specific nature and conditions of the forthcoming activity, the composition and structure of the business plan may vary significantly, but the substantive side should be the same. It is important to remember that a business plan always has an addressee. They may be a partner, investor or government, so in any case, in drawing a business plan, you should take into account the interests of the person to whom it is addressed. The standard business plan has a certain structure and a sequence of sections. The business plan includes the following content blocks: executive summary, business description, market research, marketing and sales, business operations and management, finances, and contingency plans. The executive summary is a crucial part of your business plan. For many business plans, this is the only section that will be read by a potential investor. After which the business plan will be put aside if the executive summary were inconclusive and did not interest the investor. The executive summary gives the reader an opportunity to understand the basic ideas and prospects of your business quickly and decide whether it is worth spending extra time reading your plan. Therefore, the purpose of the executive summary is to attract the interest of a potential sponsor. To do this, you must be able to convey your optimism and passion towards your business to the reader. The executive summary is the essence of your proposal, and this is the result of a business plan already written. Here, on 1 or 2, maximum 3 pages, the essence of your project should be stated very simply and concisely. What problem are you going to solve? What is the attractiveness of your idea for the state, charity funds, or the investor, that is, for the addressee of the business plan? It is important to write down what the addressee will lose if the problem is not resolved. For example, street children are potential thieves, bandits, nuisance, in which the state will spend a lot of money in the future to handle or manage. They are future fathers, whose children are potential street children. From the outset, the business plan justifies what resources or assistance is needed for a new project and what positive changes this project will provide. A properly written content in the executive summary is of course written after the business plan is fully prepared, all its sections have been calculated, and you and your team have achieved complete clarity in all the details of the project. The business description part describes the objectives, financial and non-financial project strategies, the subject of the project, the specificity of the problem being solved, and statistical data on the issue. This part is intended to demonstrate what is the negative side of the problem, affecting both the future investor and the entire society, which dictates the need to address this issue. It also describes the team that will deal with the project. The main purpose of this part of the business plan is to demonstrate to the addressee of the business plan that it is your organization or you, in terms of your knowledge, work experience, that is in the best position to realize the goals of the new project. That it is exactly you, and why, that can be entrusted with money or other investors' resources. Give the potential sponsor maximum arguments why he should help you with your project. Market research of your plan is the study of the experience of other people or organizations, as well as statistical data. This study shows the consumer, or the people who exactly needs this project. The purpose of this section of the business plan is to show that this problem affects a wide range of people. The impact of the consequences of the problem on society, and on our immediate environment. Business operations, aka operational plans, are a detailed description of creating a model for solving this problem at the local level, which can then be duplicated everywhere. It describes the mechanism for launching a local project, renting and equipping the premises, channels for reaching several categories of people and working with them, forms and budget of social advertising. The composition and strength of the team. Each section of the business plan must have an outlet on the financial section that is containing figures, data on which you can calculate the corresponding position of financial plans. Here you describe how much it will cost to keep one homeless child, the cost of the work of a psychologist, the process of returning him to the family, if any, and the costs of working with relatives of a street child. By scheduling a financial plan for one child, you can write down the financial costs for solving the problem for the city and the country. Remember, if you do not write a contingency plan in your business plan, in the future you will not be able to solve them, because finances and other resources for them will not be provided. As Sergei Nekhaev said, if the mountain does not go to Muhammad, then this is not foreseen as the business plan. Create a model. A model is a sample of a new product, an exemplary copy of your idea. Synonyms for the word model: a sample, an example, a form, a template, a stencil, an imitation, a simulator, prototype, or standard. The model is created for further duplication. In mass production, the first sample is important. According to this example, the production of a new product is being established. To describe the model of the functioning of an enterprise, it is necessary to indicate the constituent elements and the relationships between them. What does this mean for us? It means to solve the problem first on a small scale. If you are dealing with the problem of homelessness, then your model is a private house or flat for street children or another option. If you want to open a fast food restaurant, your model can be similar to the restaurant model, McDonald's or Burger King. Although each new project requires the development of a new model, but there are always examples of companies whose model of work can be taken as a basis. The model is a prototype of your big dream, the ideal sample. The model is a mini-system that gives an idea of how the problem can be solved in the whole country. If your model is successful, then it can be multiplied by copying. To do this, you need to describe it in detail, describe the ideal conditions for the effective functioning of the model, what is at the input of the model, and what is expected at the output. In business, the term business model is used. This is a compact, simplified view of the business, designed to provide a holistic view and analysis of the entire system of interrelated business processes. The term business model is used to convey the main aspects of business, including the business purpose, product range, strategy, infrastructure, organizational structure, sales methods, operational processes, and policies. The business model is a visual representation of the interrelationships between the essential business components, structural blocks that determine its uniqueness and competitive advantage. This is a holistic picture of what the business is, reflecting the interrelationships of the most critical business elements that determine its uniqueness, competitiveness, and success. The goal of creating a business model is to create an understandable, intuitive, reliable, and applicable view of the business system. The business model can be represented in the form of a figure, a diagram, a three-dimensional model. The business model and the process of its creation allow perceiving the business system as a whole, to see the main elements of interdependence between them, contradictions, and to consider elements of the business model are arranged in a certain sequence, while they are all interconnected, and it is impossible to say which is more important, which is in the first place, and which is the second. The business model is a complex solution that simultaneously takes into account all the elements, and each business combination of these elements is unique. Remember, the model is developed and implemented, but does not remain unchanged. as it is subject to the influence of various factors of the external environment with the course of the life cycle of the company, business or project. Alexander Osterwalder and Yves Renier spoke on this issue as follows. Look for the opportunity from time to time to look at your business model with a fresh look. It is possible that you will have to change it much earlier than you expect. To solve the problem of street children, the model will consist of the following elements. 1. Availability of premises, apartment, house. 2. Equipment of premises, necessary furniture, household appliances. 3. Territorially location, city, countryside. 4. Qualification of people working with children. 5. The algorithm of searching for homeless children and their delivery to a children's center. 6. Program and methods of work with children and their relatives, copyright or borrowed. 7. The results of the functioning of the model. Quantitative indicators, how many children are returned from the streets to their homes, boarding schools or live-in a children's center, and qualitative indicators, the level of psychological and moral recovery of children and their relatives. If you want to do business, you need to think through and establish links between the following elements. 1. Customer segments of the company. 2. Value propositions. 3. Channels that the company uses to communicate its proposals to customers. 4. Relationships that the company builds with customers. 5. Income. 6. Key activities. 7. Key resources. 8. Mutual relations with partners. 9. Cost structure. Describe your model as detailed as possible so that it can easily be copied. Then your dream can grow from a local scale to a national scale. The description of the model is an integral part of the business plan, of which we already spoke about above. And this part is very important, as it will help you to show in practice that you have already begun to solve the problem and successfully solving it. And therefore it will be able to attract the necessary resources. Create presentation materials. The main task of presentation materials is to highlight your idea against the background of many others to attract finance specifically to it. From this point of view, presentation materials will be an excellent way to highlight the necessary accents in your work. Even the most original idea or project needs presentation materials.